All right, folks, I want to talk about in this video the phrase full faith and credit. On the screen right here, I have a scan of my, I think it's my son's. I couldn't find mine. But this was on the top of the pile. Authenticated birth certificate. And I want you to know this is the actual copy, okay? When you get your birth certificate authenticated, you'll send in your birth certificate. You'll first send it to the Secretary of State of the state in which it was issued. Okay, I cover this in the passport videos, and then you'll send it to the Secretary of State of the United States Corporation. Okay, so in the end, you will have this fancy grommet. You can see really carefully in the scan, the grommet holding the 3 sheets of paper together, and this is just more proof that this is valuable. This is a bond. This is essentially representation of the perceived value you have as a living soul put into a document. Okay, and that you are the beneficiary of, because this document would not exist unless without you. So you're the beneficiary. The state that the corporation state that issued this acts as trustee until you claim this, okay? And the United States Corporation will assume the role as trustee until you claim this to be yours. So it's really important that you get your document authenticated. And I've covered that in other videos. What I really want to talk about in this video is the term on this document. That's important on many, many levels. So let's dig into what full faith and credit means. Okay, so this document certifies under the seal of the state of California. So that's the corporation that the document that is sealed is entitled to the full faith and credit. Okay, there's some UC codes you can go in here. These ones aren't quite as interesting, but I encourage you to look at these codes. Okay, and I want you to know that this is a wet ink signature. You can't tell from this scan, but my actual physical copy has a wet ink signature on it. It's not a computerized, digitized signature. It's wet ink. Okay, so this is a security document that has value. Get yours. Hold on to it. Put it in a safe. My recommendation. Consciously contract as you feel fit. Okay, you can see that this person, it's authenticated by 2 people. Okay, so you have 2 witnesses on this document. That's important. Okay, so let's dig in here. Uniform Commercial Code 9-307. The location of the debtor. If we scroll down to, I believe it's section H, here we see the location of the United States. In 28 U.S. Code 3002, we get the definition that United States means a federal corporation. And now we see here that the location of the United States is in the District of Columbia and that it's a debtor. Okay, the United States Corporation is the debtor. You, as documented in this paperwork, are the value. You are the creditor. This is really important. Let it sink in. Meditate on this a little bit. Okay, so in this code, we're getting evidence of that. Okay, the United States is located in the District of Columbia. Okay, so it doesn't include all the landmass that we commonly refer to as the United States of America. It is located, it's a corporation located in the District of Columbia, and it's a debtor. Very, very important to know this. So let's go, and this is on the Treasury website. I actually Googled the term full faith credit, and this popped up. And if you go down here, it shows you some of the history. Article of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 2, the Congress will have the power to borrow money on the credit of the United States. So the only reason, this is another evidence that the corporation, the United States, is a debtor. They can borrow credits from you and me based on these documents. They can't create credits. So all the Federal Reserve notes that are out in circulation, those are debt instruments. They are not uh, they're evidence of debt that was borrowed by the US Congress, because they authorized the printing of that money at interest, by the way, which creates inflation, but that's another topic for the video. So I'm building on the evidence here that you are the value, and this document is just one example of such. Okay, let's look at this. This is also from the Office of Government Ethics. Okay, so let's talk about what are Treasury securities. The United States, remember, the corporation located in DC that is a debtor, creates securities. These are debt obligations issued by the corporation and secured by the full faith and credit. You are the creditor securing these debt instruments. Okay, so here are some examples of Treasury notes, Treasury bonds. That's what these are. Okay, let's go to the next one. This I thought was super interesting when I was Googling full faith and credit. So we've been talking about money, debt and credits as being full faith and credit. But the term full faith and credit all means that there's a requirement derived by Article 4 in the Section 1 of the Constitution that states that courts have to respect the judgment of courts in the other states. And I want you to remember that they're talking about the corporate states. Okay, so you can imagine it like the United States as being the top franchisee, and then all the states, state of California, state of Florida, they're all franchise divisions. And then below that, they have the cities, right? So City of Los Angeles is actually another corporation with a Dun and Bradstreet number that rolls up to the state of California, that rolls up to the United States. And they just act like franchises. And the same thing with the courts. They all roll up the same way. And so this clause, full faith and credit, also not only applies to debt obligations and credits and who the creditor is, but it applies to how you're treated in the corporate structure. Most of us think, oh, it would be how you were treated if you crossed this land boundary from California into Arizona. But that is not it. This is a corporate system that is following these commercial codes. That's important to understand. So the point I was trying to get to is that if you find a court case or a statute that supports something and it's from California, you can use it in a court case somewhere else in another state, and you cite full faith credit when you're doing that. If you should you need to argue with these courts that you are outside your jurisdiction, your trust would be essentially arguing with the courts. Anyways, that's what I thought. This was an interesting side note attached to the old full faith and credit. And I think that's everything I wanted to cover for this video. Thanks so much for listening.